Hey guys, welcome back to our Read Aloud of Frindle. We're getting near the end. That's as much book as we have left. We're on chapter 13, and this chapter is called Ripples. Usually, when people in books or stories talk about ripples, what they mean is the effects of something. Think about when you throw a rock or a stone into a body of water, like a lake or a river. You see those ripples from where you first had that rock enter the water from the splash. That means those are the effects of throwing the rock in. In this case, we're not talking about rocks and water. We're talking about the effects of this story getting so popular and maybe of Nick even making a lot of money. So, Andrew Clements has graced us with a shorter chapter since chapter 12 was pretty long. Took us about two videos, each at around 15 minutes. So, it was a pretty long chapter. This one's quite short, and I see that authors of chapter books do this sometimes. They'll give us a chapter that has a ton of information in it, and then they kind of want to follow it up with a shorter chapter just so that their reader doesn't get frustrated. I'm always kind of taking notice of things that I see more than one author do. Maybe that's just a pattern of good writing or good writers. So here we go. But life did settle back to normal in Westfield. More leaves fell. Thanksgiving came, then the first snow, then Christmas, and more snow. Fall and winter seemed to calm everything down and drive everyone into their own houses. Things were calmer at Lincoln Elementary School, too. Frindle mania was over. But that didn't mean the word was gone. Not at all. All the kids and even some of the teachers used the new word. At first it was on purpose, but then it just became a habit. And by the middle of February, Frindle was just a word like door or tree or hat. People in Westville barely noticed it anymore. So that's interesting to me. Took some time, but, about 3 months into this new word, people kind of just, they use it, but it's not anything special. It's just a normal word now. Nobody freaks out. Nobody, acts differently. Nobody's staying after school. It's just a normal word now in Westfield. But the rest of the country, things were hopping. Frindle was on the move. In hundreds of little towns and big cities from coast to coast, kids were using the new word and parents and teachers were trying to stop it. What had happened in Westfield was happening over and over and over again. Bud Lawrence couldn't have been happier. Yeah, I bet. The more popular the word is, the more money he's going to make. There were Frindle shirts and sunglasses and Frindle erasers and notebooks and papers and dozens of other items. The new line of Frindles imported from Japan were a big hit. And now there was talk of selling them in Japan and Europe as well. The checks that went into Nick's trust fund got bigger and bigger. Nick is getting rich. He doesn't even know it. Bud opened his own factory in Westfield to make Frindle baseball caps, which created jobs for 22 people. And in March, the town council voted to put up a little sign on the post below the town's name along Route 302. The sign said, Westfield, home of the original Frindle. And Mrs. Granger? She seemed to have given up. Or perhaps she had been ordered to give up. No one knew. Her poster about the forbidden word had quietly disappeared from the bulletin board, and kids were not staying after school writing sentences anymore. It was business as usual. Except for one thing. Everyone in 5th grade got at least one word wrong on his or her spelling test each week. Every week, the first word at the top of Miss Granger's list was pen. And each Friday, during the spelling test, every kid spelled the word pen Frindle. Nick was sort of a celebrity for a while. Everyone had seen him on The Late Show and The Good Morning America show and 2 or 3 other TV shows. John and Chris and all his friends kept asking about what it was like to ride in a limousine. After a week or two, though, it was old news, and everyone seemed to forget it and move on. The only person who couldn't quite forget about everything was Nick. Okay, so here we have the sign in front of the town. It says, "Welcome to Westfield," established in 1796, and then right below it says, "Home of the original Frindle." So if you were driving there and you were approaching the town of Westfield, that would be what you would see. Seems like the town's kind of proud that this is where the word Frindle was created. And it's kind of how things actually happen, right? People get excited about something new, but then the new thing isn't new anymore, and people just kind of move on and accept it. That's what's happened here in Westfield. However, the rest of the world, it's still new, and people are still excited. They're buying things, they're talking about it, and it's causing problems. The end of the chapter said Nick wasn't able to move on. I wonder if we'll learn more about that next chapter, and I wonder what that means. I wonder if that means that he's still wanting to push people to use a new word, or if he's just kind of feeling different now that he's gone through this process of being on television and creating a new word. We're not sure yet. Maybe we'll find out in the next chapter. All right.